Something just leaked about GTA 6's gang system, and the community is losing it. Not a trailer, not an official announcement, but a detailed picture of the criminal underworld Rockstar has been quietly building inside Leonida, pieced together from the 2022 footage, both official trailers and a wave of credible sourced leaks that have been stacking up for months. We're talking biker clubs running entire counties, Haitian street gangs holding down Vice City's urban core, a drug cartel operating through coastal speedboats and port warehouses, a right-wing militia buried in the rural north, and a music industry empire that doubles as a front for organized crime. This is not GTA 5's Los Santos with 3 protagonist icons in the corner. What Rockstar appears to have built is a fully stratified criminal ecosystem where every region of the map is contested by a different faction, each with its own structure, territory, and relationship to Jason and Lucia. Let's break down exactly who controls what and what the leaks are actually telling us about how this gang system works in gameplay. The first thing you need to understand is how different Leonida is as a setting compared to Los Santos. GTA 5 had gangs, sure, but they were mostly background texture. You ran into the Ballas or the Vagos, maybe a few biker types in the hills, and that was roughly it. The protagonists existed largely above the gang ecosystem rather than inside it. GTA 6 appears to be built around the opposite philosophy. Jason and Lucia are described as being pulled into a criminal conspiracy stretching across the entire state. That framing only works if the state actually has a criminal infrastructure worth being entangled in. And based on everything confirmed or credibly leaked, Rockstar has built exactly that. The map covers Vice City itself, the surrounding coastal keys, the swampy interior of Grass Rivers, the rural industrial zone of Ambrosia, the port city of Port Gellhorn, and the mountain wilderness of Mount Caliga National Park. Each of these regions has its own dominant faction. That's not speculation, that's visible in the trailers if you know what to look for. Start with the clearest example. Ambrosia County is controlled by the final chapter MC. This is one of the few gangs Rockstar has essentially confirmed themselves. The official Ambrosia location description on Rockstar's own site refers to the local biker gang as providing almost everything else for the region beyond what the Allied Crystal Sugar Refinery supplies. The final chapter MC name comes directly from patches visible on member clothing in the official trailers. Their patches also show a founding year of 1982, which tells you how much detail Rockstar has put into making them feel like a real organization rather than a placeholder faction. Their visual language maps closely to real-world outlaw MC culture. The color scheme and patch design echo the Bandidos, while their regional dominance model resembles the Warlocks, a Florida-based motorcycle club with a history in the same kinds of rural and semi-rural territory that Ambrosia represents. In the trailers, club members ride through Ambrosia on motorcycles with visibly different body types, and the jackets show internal rank variation. One member wears a Liberty City Cycles cap with an enforcer patch, which tells you the club runs a formal hierarchy. These are not random NPCs in matching outfits. This is a structured criminal organization with rank, territory, and history baked into the assets. Based on leaks and trailer analysis, the final chapter MC likely runs operations out of the Grass Rivers swamps, with highway corridors serving as their supply routes. Stepping into Ambrosia without a relationship to this crew is probably going to be a problem for Jason and Lucia. Moving into Vice City proper, the street-level gang picture gets more layered. San Forsan is the faction that has generated the most community discussion. Their symbol appears as graffiti in the second trailer, clearly visible on a wall as Jason drives past a police arrest scene. The surrounding mural art is tied to Haitian culture, which has led researchers to connect San Forsan to the original Haitian gangs from the first Vice City game. An NPC in Trailer 1 wearing a blue bandana is consistent with that earlier faction's visual language. This is the HD universe, so San Forsan is almost certainly a reimagining rather than a direct continuation. But the cultural thread is clear. They appear to hold significant territorial control over the Haitian-dominated neighborhoods in Vice City's urban core. Then there are the Guardia brothers, a Latin street gang with what leaked sourcing describes as deep cartel connections, operating in the poorer districts of Vice City. Their graffiti and tags appear across multiple trailer scenes. Their territory reportedly overlaps with Sanfor Sands in certain neighborhoods, which sets up the kind of intergang conflict that gives a city its texture. Two factions competing for the same drug corners in the same neighborhood means constant low-level violence, which means Jason and Lucia operating in those areas will have to navigate competing loyalties. If you've been following GTA 6 closely and want breakdowns like this, every time something significant drops, subscribing keeps you in the loop. The cartel presence in Leonida is harder to pin to a single named faction, but the evidence for it is spread across both trailers. Multiple scenes show drug-laden speedboats operating in coastal waters. Warehouse sequences have the visual language of large-scale narco-logistics. Port Gellhorn, described in official Rockstar material as featuring cheap motels and strip clubs alongside its port infrastructure, is identified across multiple leak analyses as the main distribution hub for product moving into the state from South America. The Leonida Keys appear to be the coastal landing point before goods move inland. This matters for gameplay because Jason's storyline reportedly begins with tracking a Russian drug trafficker moving product through the region. That thread connects him directly to this coastal narco network from the opening chapter. Lucia's connection comes through the heist crew she falls in with, which includes a character named Raul Bautista. Raul sits at the intersection of street-level and cartel-level crime, exactly where Jason and Lucia would need to operate to get pulled into a conspiracy that spans the whole state. The rural north introduces a faction that is genuinely different from anything that has appeared in a mainline GTA game before. The 2022 leak specifically named a right-wing militia group as a criminal presence in GTA 6, operating in the rural outskirts of Leonida. Subsequent trailer analysis and leaked details describe them as loosely organized, involved in weapons stockpiling, and occupying territory that overlaps with other rural factions. Their presence adds a layer to the criminal ecosystem that isn't about profit in the traditional sense, which makes them unpredictable in ways that purely money-motivated gangs aren't. There is also a smuggling network operated by a character named Brian Heder out of his boat repair business along the coast. Both Jason and a character named Cal Hampton are described as connected to Heder's operation in the early chapters. This is the street-level entry point for the protagonists into the broader criminal world, a small-time smuggling job that goes wrong and drags them into something much larger. It's the easy score that Rockstar's official story description references. And then there is Booby Ike. This is the one the community has been talking about for months because the faction angle here is genuinely unexpected. Booby Ike runs what appears to be a music industry operation called Only Raw Records, fronted by an artist named Dre Quan Priest. What makes this interesting from a gang standpoint is that Only Raw Records appears to function as a legitimate front for organized criminal activity, which puts it in a completely different category from the bikers, cartels, and street gangs. This mirrors how actual organized crime in Florida has historically operated. South Florida has a long documented history of cash-heavy businesses, including music industry ventures, being used to launder criminal money. Rockstar setting up a record label as a criminal front in a Vice City game is not subtle, but it's also not a joke. It gives the game a faction that operates in boardrooms and industry events, rather than on street corners, adding a layer of social texture that previous GTA games haven't really explored. What ties all of this together from a gameplay standpoint is how Jason and Lucia actually interact with each faction. The leaks point to a relationship system that tracks your standing with different groups, similar in concept to what Red Dead Redemption 2 did with Honor, but applied to criminal affiliations rather than general morality. Decisions made in missions appear to affect which factions are hostile, which are neutral, and which will work with you. The Wanted system overhaul adds another dimension. Police in GTA 6 are reportedly no longer omniscient. They respond to a defined search radius around where a crime occurred, tracking suspects based on last known activity, including recognizing the vehicle you were driving. They cordon off crime scenes and coordinate helicopters and ground units in actual tactical patterns, rather than spawning behind you. The 6-star Wanted level expands this into a full paramilitary response. What this means in practice is that operating in gang territory with heat becomes a two-front problem. The faction whose turf you're on might be hostile. The police response to whatever you just did is now active and strategic. Managing both simultaneously is a completely different experience from anything previous GTA titles asked of the player. The picture that emerges from all of this is a game that has rebuilt the criminal world from the ground up. Not just as story backdrop, but as a functional system you have to understand and navigate to survive inside it. Leonida isn't a sandbox with gangs scattered across it. Every region is contested, every faction has something to lose, and Jason and Lucia are walking into the middle of it with limited leverage and a target on their backs. That's the setup. November 19th is when we find out if Rockstar actually pulled it off. YouTube's already lined something up on screen if you want to keep going.